So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Simon Rickman, Director at Peak Performance and Potential.
Let's talk about why we're here today. Yes, there is that word, unprecedented. We have obviously heard a lot about living in unprecedented times, but the reality is it's true. We haven't ever been in this situation before. And so how we're trying to deal with this situation has been one of our biggest challenges. I don't think there is anyone who knows all the answers, and we see that a lot of things are being done at an international, national, local level, where we try some things and people are going to criticize those sorts of things. And that's inevitable because we haven't been in this situation before. And if we think back now to March the 23rd, when the Prime Minister put us into lockdown, we kind of thought that that was going to be really challenging for us, and indeed it was. But when we reflect back with some hindsight, I think we can see and feel that it wasn't as challenging as perhaps it is today. The instructions were much clearer. You will stay at home. You can go out for exercise for 1 hour. All those sorts of things meant that life was actually a little bit clearer, a little bit more simple, and a little bit more relaxing, dare I say, given the pandemic that was around us. And since that time, the world has changed. And as we're coming out of lockdown, I think we're seeing much more stress. I think we're seeing people who are becoming more anxious about what that means for them, what it means for the organisation that you work in, your team, and indeed your customers. And one of the first things that I did when I spoke to Sue and then to Jules and then to Joe about what I was going to talk about, I went to the CICM website and I looked at, okay, what are you guys all about? And I have done some work with you guys before, but it's all about how does the organisation support, guide and advise our members? But it's all about preparing ourselves for the future. Now, because we live in these unprecedented times, it's difficult to anticipate what that future is going to look like. And so some of the things that I think, talking to Sue and to Jules in particular, some of the key challenges I think you're going to be facing within your industry are going to be, okay, first of all, how are we going to get back into the office? So in our comfort zone of working from home, which we said was rather challenging for the first few weeks, is no longer there. How do we move out of our comfort zone into this new world? How does it affect me? Does it affect me at all? Do I have any choice over that? So that's number one. The second is, what is the background? What's the economic climate? And we're already hearing about organisations that are doing everything they can based on the support that the government has provided. They're beginning to take that away. We're hearing that some people are going to inevitably lose their jobs, and that indeed is going to cause a high degree of consternation. And then at a very local level within your own industry, as you start to re-engage with customers, they're going to start to use reasons, excuses that are personal to them. They may avoid your calls. They may not be able to pay because the financial impact of what we're going through has been quite considerable. So these are some of the things that I think you're going to be facing in particular over the next few months, well into 2021. And so the question is, what can we do about it? How can we prepare for doing that? How can we be prepared to meet and beat some of the challenges that you're going to see? And I think there are three key skills that I think you need. Number one is agility. We've had to be incredibly flexible to move out of the office. Some of us have been put on furlough. Some of us are not earning anything. Some of us are having to pick up work because other people are on furlough. So we've had to show that agility and flexibility. The second is our ability to remain engaged with where we are as a human being. Going out and clapping for 10 weeks for the NHS very much saw what I thought was a wonderful side of humanity. It was great. I was talking to neighbours that, I've lived here for 23 years and I've never spoken to them before, certainly not in that way. In terms of engaging with the organisation, with customers, etc., that's something I think is going to be at the forefront of change and something that you need to maintain. And the third one is really why we're here today, is how do we build resilience? Everything to me comes under this umbrella of resilience. How do I adapt to the changes that are around me, that are many of it is outside my control, and emerge from it stronger, better, wiser individual?